All right, we're buttoning up this motor build. Hopefully everything's good. The things I was worried about were, you know, it's been apart for quite a while, so just where all the little bolts and stuff are going. I forgot whether the turbo was in good shape, but there is no detectable slop in here at all, or wiggle in here. It's very tight, spins freely, so that's great. Overall, I'm relatively impressed with this motor. It's got you know, crankcase vent recirculation system on it, and so mechanically injected, you know, that's what we wanted. So it's nothing to really fail, dumb stuff to fail. So this motor's coming together, but I do have a crack in the oil pan, and of course it's painted with epoxy paint on both sides of it, so I'm gonna have to get in there and grind all that epoxy paint out and weld it up. Probably not comfortable enough with my TIG yet to be successful with that. I probably could, but for this, I don't know, we'll see, but I may just make it. And we're coming down to it. Rear main seal, seal block, oil pan repaired and put on, fuel lines, the muffler bolts on the turbo over here. Figure out a few more things, and a few more things where they go, a couple of sensors that it's been so, like I said, it's been so long I've forgotten. But it's coming down to it, and we will get it put in, hopefully, and fired up. But today we are done. The dog's tired. He's ready to go. So we're finishing up this motor. I got the seal in this housing, and it's weird. This housing bolts on with a gasket, the bell housing does, and the seal is in the bell housing. The crank rear main seal's in the bell housing. Hold on 1 minute. Whoops, sorry buddy. A little noise. So we've got this ready to go, but there's 2 dowel pins that go in the back of this crank right here, here and here, 4 bolt holes, and they're in the old crank. And I tried to get them out of the crank. I'm gonna have to get a acetylene torch out. Tried heating them with a little propane torch, but we're gonna set it on the ground because the other mount is right here, and it is not hooked there right now. I got it on the exhaust manifold, which is not super comforting. So we're gonna get it back down on this mount right properly, and right now we're gonna set it down. We don't want to set it on the pan though. I had to put a new oil pan on it because the oil pan was cracked here and the same place on the other side. And I can only imagine that that's what started this whole train wreck with this motor, is that they were leaking. I don't know if somebody set the motor down on the pan and it cracked it or what. I've set a bunch of them down on the pan myself, never had that happen, but I can't imagine what else it would have been. So we're just gonna be careful and try not to set it on the pan. We're gonna set it down on a couple of jack stands and then block of wood on the front bracket. So get that set real quick, and then see what we can do with this crankshaft. So let's get this lowered.
You want to lower it?
Yeah, you want to like hold the motor straight. Just don't put your toes underneath the motor, right?
Right.
Any other body part. Let's see how close we can get for kind of square it up on the stands. You know what I'm saying? Then once you get close to that one. we hit the front, we'll just hit the front thing. So kind of square it up a little bit. Turn the motor to your right a little touch.
Okay. Okay. Guess that's gonna fall down. Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay, here it goes. Too high?
Yeah, and this needs to go back.
45 feet.
Probably.
Yeah, you want way. That's more than 2 notches, bud. You just need to be 1, 2.
I thought I pulled up only 2.
Yeah, I'm up 2 notches. Go down to the bottom, and then just lift it. It'll click twice. Maybe let's come up 3.
Okay.
Need to go up more.
Yeah. One, 2, 3. Okay, there you go.
Steady. Touching yet?
Yep. It's good. Ta-da!
Alright, so now that we're gonna get the acetylene torch out and try to get these dowel pins out and not ruin them, and then rehook this, because this is not making me feel great. So I have to pull this and take the pipe back off. So let's we'll get the crank out over here and acetylene torch, and we'll heat this up and see if we can't get them to come out without tearing them up. All right, here we've got our little Cat 3044C or Mitsubishi S4SD or Perkins 804, whatever. Motor all put together. We are ready to get the skid steer in here in the shop and start see if we can get it put in. Of course, I guess I got to put the seal housing and bell housing on the back of the motor. Got one little gasket to scrape and put on there, and everything's cleaned. And new oil pan, new dipstick, new block, head, rod, crank, pistons. We're ready to go. So we'll get to putting it in. Okay, so we're back with our Cat 246B. We got the motor all built. These, hopefully you saw in the last video, and we just put it in. There's 3 motor mount bolts, one on either side in the back of the bell housing, and then one here in the front. Bell housing bolts, we've got it located, got the hydraulic pump gear splined in with the drive hub in the bell housing, greased, got 3 bolts holding it in place. So we got to finish putting those bolts in, tighten up the motor mounts bolts, start hooking up the wiring and the fuel. We've got to go through the fuel pump, make sure that it's working right. I'm skeptical, but Pop Senior is cleaning it up, Paul Kettle, and we will get this thing put together. Stevie and I are going to start throwing bolts in this thing and tightening up the motor, and then we're going to start hooking up all, like I said, all the fuel lines and wiring, and see if we can make smoke. Oh, we got to put the cab back on too and hook that wiring because the cab's not in it. So full day on. So we're going to see if we can get this thing making smoke today. So, all right, well, let's get at it.